I want to start with a confession. I love AI. Drink. I love what it has done for our industry and for my agency. It helps us brainstorm faster, write faster, organize faster, research faster. It's like having an assistant that never sleeps, never complains, and doesn't care if I ask for one more revision 12 more times. It's incredible. And here's what I'm noticing. The more advanced the technology gets, the more important the human touch becomes. Because what we do in public relations isn't actually about content. It's about relationships. The relationships that don't run on efficiency, they run on trust. And trust is built in moments, not in drafts. Which brings me to the title of this talk, Donuts Still Matter. Not because donuts are magical, well, they're a little magical, but because donuts are a stand-in for something we can't automate. A donut says, I thought about you. I made time for you. I showed up for you. And that's the part of the job that AI just can't do. AI can write a perfectly polite pitch email, but it can't read the room. It can't sense that a reporter is exhausted or dealing with something personal or has been burned by 10 PR people this week who all use the exact same just one quick question template. AI doesn't know the difference between this is interesting and this is actually going to annoy them. But we do, because we're human. And in our business, being human is not a weakness. It's the whole point. Now, I'm just not talking about editing AI-generated copy, although we obviously have to do that. I'm talking about human interactions in all things, because nothing will replace the face-to-face meeting with a prospective client. You can have the most gorgeous deck in the world, but trust is built when someone looks you in the eye and thinks, oh, they get me, and they really get my business. And nothing will replace dropping off treats to a valued member of the media, not as a bribe, not as a gimmick, but as a reminder that the relationship is real, that it's not transactional, that we're not just showing up when we want something. That's what donuts do. They're small, but they're meaningful. And in a world where everything is becoming optimized and automated, meaning is the new competitive advantage. Here's another thing I've been thinking about. For years, our value in PR was tied to our access. We knew who to call. We knew how to get in the door. We knew what a newsroom needed. But now, a lot of that has changed. Not because relationships don't matter, but because tools have leveled the playing field. Everyone can find an email address. Everyone can write a pitch. Everyone can create a media list. So if we all have access to the same tools, what's left? The human part. The part that has always been the real work, but now has become the differentiator. Empathy, judgment, timing, taste, trust, the ability to be present. And presence is not a soft skill anymore, it's a strategy. Because even our clients don't just want deliverables. They want someone who will tell them the truth. Someone who will say, that's not the right story, or this isn't the right time, or this may get coverage, but it's not going to build your credibility. AI won't do that unless you ask it to. It won't push back. It won't protect the relationship or the reputation the way you will. It's just not invested, but we are. And I think there's a danger right now that we start confusing output for impact. AI is phenomenal at output. More posts, more versions, more ideas, more everything. But impact comes from understanding. And understanding comes from being close enough to the people to really know them. Think about the clients that you've had for years, the ones that trust you. Do you think they stayed because your email was grammatically perfect? I don't think so. They stayed because they felt supported. They stayed because you remembered what mattered to them. They stayed because when something went sideways, you didn't disappear into a process, you showed up as a person. And those moments are relationship deposits. We're in a business where the best work often happens in the smallest moments. A voicemail that says, hey, just checking in, no agenda. A note after a big interview, you handled that beautifully. A quick DM to a reporter, saw that story and it really landed. These things don't scale. That's why they matter. And here's the part I want to really emphasize to this room with my agency colleagues. The more we use AI, the more intentional we need to be about keeping the human layer alive. Because if we don't, the work becomes cheaper, not financially, but emotionally. It becomes interchangeable. And I don't think any of us got into this business to be interchangeable. We got into this because we know that relationships move the world. So yes, use AI. Use it to accelerate the work. Use it to cut down the time. Use it to help you think. But don't outsource the soul of your agency. Don't outsource care. Because donuts are never just donuts. They're a gesture. They're proof of effort. They're a reminder of connection. And in the end, that's what people will remember. Not the perfect email. Not the clever subject line. Not the news release that sounded like every other news release. They remember that you showed up. They remember that you cared. They remember how you made them feel. So if you take nothing else from this little talk, let it be this. AI can help us do the work, but humans are why the work works. And no matter how advanced the technology gets, donuts still matter. Enjoy your donut.